Okay, so if we come now over to the other side, then you should see over here what's called the outliner, which is basically just a list of everything that is in your scene. And it's displayed here in a hierarchy. So, you know, Maya, like all 3D packages, allows you to put objects in hierarchies. So I can make particular objects children of other objects, just like you have a folder structure inside Windows. These objects here are kind of like the child objects of this parent object. And what that means is that if I select the parent object and I move it around, then everything that is a child of it will move with it. So this actual object at the top here, if I just very quickly remove these objects from that hierarchy, this object is actually only the green kind of dome thing. But if I undo that, so they return to be children again, all these things that are the children of this object, when I move the top object around, will move with it. Now in Maya, it's a little bit confusing because you'll see that when I select this object, all the children objects get highlighted as well. So it kind of looks like this thing is actually, you know, just one thing, but it's not. It's you know, the thing I've actually got selected is just the green dome. Everything else which is highlighted is the whole hierarchy here. Okay, so to show you this a little bit more detail, let's come up. We've got these kind of shelves at the top here. And by default, you should be on the poly modeling one, but if you're not, you can just click on poly modeling. And let's make a few objects and actually put them in a hierarchy. So if I click on the sphere, it will make a sphere here. And by default, it puts it at the origin of the scene. So if I turn on the grid, so over here in the viewport, I've got a grid button. If I turn that on, you'll see that where it's made the sphere is the very center of my scene here. Let's just turn that back off again. But let's just move that sphere over. So click on it, move it over. And now let's create a cube. And let's also move that over. And let's create a cylinder as well. And let's just move that over here. Okay, so I've got my different objects here. And obviously I can select them either in the viewport or I can select them in the outliner. Now, the way that you set things up in hierarchies, because we're going to be using hierarchies quite a bit in this unit, it's quite important for animation, is what you do is you actually hold down the middle mouse button on the keyboard, sorry, not the keyboard, on the mouse, and we're going to drag and drop it. So we'll, let's say we want to make the cube a child of the sphere. We'll hold down the middle mouse button over the cube and we'll drag and we'll drop it onto the sphere here. So now you'll see that I've set this up in a hierarchy. So if I select the sphere, I can select it here or I can select it over here. I move it around, then the cube moves with it. And let's select the cylinder. And again, I'll hold down the middle mouse button and I'm going to drag that to be a child of the cube. So I'll just drag it over the cube and let go. And then we'll click on the little plus to see them all. So obviously, if I select the sphere now, they all move. If I select the cube, that will move the cylinder with it. And if I just select the cylinder, that won't move either of the other ones. So like I say, it is a little bit confusing because when I select the sphere, it looks like they're all selected, but actually only the sphere is properly selected here. And that becomes important when we start doing keyframing later, because if I wanted to set a keyframe on all of these objects, I'd actually need to select them properly. And to do that, what you can do is you can either hold down the Shift key and select them all from here, or if you want to add something to your selection, if I hold down Shift and Control, you'll see that now I've got a little plus symbol by my mouse cursor, and if I click on the cube, and then I also click on the cylinder, you'll see now they are actually all properly selected in my outliner here. And just in case you can't see the outliner, just in case it disappears for some reason, if you ever need to get it back, you basically just go up to Windows and then Outliner. Here it is. If you click on that, it should then reappear here.